So what brings you in today?
Well, initially I was going to talk to you about some issues I had been having at work, but on my way in I was like, well, I have another issue that kind of popped up on my radar while I was at work that isn't work related. So
Okay.
I would like to tackle that issue first.
Okay.
So I have a not so good relationship with one of my sisters. I have three sisters. And I'm not really close to any of them. However, this one particular sister, my response to her, I tried really hard to not engage with her, but I spent my entire lunch break texting her because she just wouldn't stop with the text messaging, and I happened to be free. So I was doing really well with being positive via the text message and trying to keep it all together. However, as soon as I got the opportunity to call my mom, I let my mom have everything I wanted my sister to have.
Oh.
Yeah. And it was just me letting out. It wasn't necessarily, giving my mother what I wanted to give my sister. I needed to release it.
Right.
But the issue is how to work on my response, so without being agitated. So it's really like an internal issue, but that was just the situation that happened today.
So when you say you're not really close to any of your sisters, so what's that dynamic? What do they live nearby?
I
Do you
moved
see
away,
each
so
other?
I had nothing to do with them.
So they live far away?
Yes.
And where does your mother live?
She lives in Connecticut.
Okay.
With my younger sister, who this altercation via text message happened with.
Oh, okay, so do they live together, or they just both live in the
Unfortunately.
same, they live together? Okay. Have you always had a strained relationship
Yes.
with her? Okay. And your mother, your relationship with your mom?
Awesome.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that's good.
Awesome.
So, so what was this about? What was
It
your
was
sister?
what I was told it was about had to do with my mother, like doing landscaping. So I saw my mom 2 weekends ago. No, it was last weekend. She was just driving through to go to North Carolina, and she dropped off some plants. But I wanted her to plant them. We were actually going to do it together, and we didn't get the opportunity to do that. So the plants still aren't in the ground. I've been watering them so they don't die, obviously, but I wanted her to come back during the week, and she told me this week she did not have to work. So I was like, oh, that's great. That's a perfect opportunity. You can come back down, and we can go to Bible study. We can hang out. And then you can also see Lauren off to prom. Lauren is my 7-year-old. And then you can leave. As soon as Lauren leaves, you can go back home because you have to go to work on the weekend. My sister, the one that lives with my mom, relies on my mother for childcare. So my nephew needs to get off the bus and get on the bus. And my sister doesn't do that because my sister says that she can't based on the job that she has. So when my mom told my sister that she was leaving to come and see me, my sister got really upset with her and threw in my mom's face that I was the favorite and that she didn't give her enough notice for her to find childcare for tomorrow. And when I explained to my sister, I had no idea that mommy was going to leave tomorrow. The conversation we had mommy leaving early Wednesday, like midnight, coming down. So at least it gave you today and tomorrow to kind of look for alternate care. And it wouldn't have been an issue. But my sister, whenever I explained to her, your reaction to the whole mommy coming down and seeing it probably what threw mommy off. Because then she said, well, she's not coming. She said she wasn't coming. And I don't understand how you invited her and you didn't invite me. So it's a lot in there. It's packed. So really what I think my sister has multiple issues. And I can't fix them.
You said your sister says that her job prevents her from, does that mean that you don't believe that's true?
I believe if my sister were thinking that she were a single parent without all of the support, she would have probably found another job that would have allowed her to do what she needed to do as a parent versus relying on my parents to do the parenting part that she should be there for.
So that irritates you, obviously,
It does,
on
because
your,
my parents are retired.
Right.
And they would like to be able to go when they would like to go, but they can't necessarily really enjoy retirement because
so do they tell you that they're not enjoying their retirement because your sister's
I see it.
making them?
she is making them miserable.
But they haven't said that.
They wouldn't say that.
Okay.
My dad calls me and talks to me about how miserable he is. Yes. With lots of cuss words and yeah, he just wishes she'd get the hell out.
But they won't say that to her.
My dad says it to her.
But your mom, no.
No.
She's not going to do that.
Mhm.
Well, that's understandable. Moms aren't going to usually say, get out. So your sister had several things going on. Upset that you didn't invite her to.
And I didn't invite anybody. I didn't.
Just
I invited my mom to landscape my like I wanted to spend time with my mom. It
Right.
just so happens that my daughter's prom is Friday.
Right.
So I didn't want to cause an issue in Connecticut with even inviting my mom. Even inviting my mom to come see her granddaughter go to prom would have been an issue. And it's still an issue because it became an issue when my sister wanted to come down. And my mom mentioned to her that she was literally going to landscape and see Lauren off to prom and then come back. And then it was, well, she didn't invite me to see Lauren off to prom. I didn't invite anybody.
So what was your sister saying to you in these texts? Why didn't you invite me?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you only inviting her?
Mm-hmm. That she was saying, bringing up or dredging up stuff from the past. Oh, you never liked me. You fake act like you like me. What else was in there? You're the favorite. You could do no wrong. Yeah, all the stuff.
And what is your response to those things?
My response is usually not paying attention to that. Like my response to her is, well, this is what you could do differently because the comment had to do first about my mom. She was texting me to let me know that my mom now wasn't coming because she got upset with my sister. Her response.
So, but your mother didn't say she wasn't coming yet.
Yeah, she did.
Oh, she told you to.
Mm-hmm. And I'm upset about it.
Right.
However, I understand. So now I feel like I always have to be the bigger sister and not make the comments to my younger sister about how she actually monopolizes my parents' time and their energy. And, she likes to say, well, you're the favorite. I'm not the one that requires all the work. So you're the one that requires all the work. You're the one that gets all the attention.
Has she always said you're the favorite?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think she's trying to do with that
Annoying.
comment? Think she's trying to annoy you? You don't think she really believes you're the favorite?
She probably does, but I also told her how she feels is subjective.
Right. So you don't own that at all. Do you have any feeling like, yes, I've been favored more by my parents than any of my sisters?
Nope.
No. So there's
My
no
sister
guilt
is
there. So you don't have to own that.
My sister totaled cars. My parents have been locked up because of my sister. Like
Wow.
you can name anything that you can think of. My sister has done it to my parents, and they're still there. She lives in the house rent free. She is coming to a $10,000 settlement. She gave my parents nothing while she was living at home.
So the fact that your parents are allowing her to take advantage of them sounds like it runs deep. But you're pretty good at, you said you usually just ignore her. Why did today you not ignore her? What happened
Because it
today?
had something to do with my daughter. And my daughter and my sister are pretty close. And I don't want my daughter to have to deal with my sister's craziness. And I know she's gonna ask, because what also was said in the message was, "Well, I'm not coming to her graduation either." I'm like, that doesn't have, like, you're going to potentially endanger your relationship with your niece because you didn't get invited to, or you feel like I didn't invite you to see her off to prom. I didn't invite you to see her off to prom because I knew like all of this stuff would be an issue between you, between mommy, between daddy. So I didn't invite anyone.
Right.
I didn't invite anyone.
You didn't really per se invite your mother. You
No.
just talked about doing something with your mother.
Right.
That would involve her coming.
Yes. And then she would, by chance, get to see my daughter off to the prom, which she's leaving right after. That's not the purpose of her coming.
So what happens if you disarm your sister? Or can you disarm your sister? Can you say, I don't know why you're upset about come visit. You can come.
Oh, I don't want her there.
Oh, okay.
Oh no,
But you're not.
She knows I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to invite her anywhere. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I invited her to the graduation because I felt like I wanted her to be there, but I don't do one-on-one, me and my sister.
Okay. So your mother now, you don't get your mother.
Nope.
And your daughter doesn't get your mother.
Nope. And my mom purchased half my daughter's prom dress.
And that really resides with your mother, right?
In terms of
her response to her two children. So she's decided to take the path of least resistance, right? Your sister has this all figured out, right? So she knows how to get what she wants from your mother.
Well, she says
clearly.
that she has, she's secured childcare because then she was going to invite herself. Like she literally told me, well, I'll be down there Friday. This was before the last text message, which is what I asked her to please stop texting me. And then she just said, I'll do you one better. I'll just block you.
And what was your response to that?
I don't give a shit. I don't call you for anything. You don't pay any of my bills. That's what I thought in my head.
But she does manage to keep your mother away from you. So really what's going on with your sister is really, if you can avoid that.
Yeah, I try to at all costs.
Right, then you don't have to own any of that.
Mm-hmm.
But the part where it interferes with your relationship with your mother is what has to be negotiated, right?
That's
and your sister has managed to be the toll booth that you have to go through to get your mother on board, right? How often do you get your mother? You don't get your mother very often.
I talk to her on the phone. And even then, I have to be strategic about the time, or else my sister will be in the background.
So what was her response when you unloaded on her? Which, I mean, I think you were justified.
She understood that where I was coming from. She knew, and I tell her all the time, I tell her whenever, I said, that's why I don't necessarily ask for a lot. I don't, because I just know that I'm going to run up against, well, I got to do this for your sister. Your sister needs to do this. And that was one of the things that initially, whenever my sister reached out to me via text message to tell me what was going on, I said to her, well, if you say that this is happening all the time, mommy telling you stuff last minute, then it sounds like you need a backup. You need a backup. So, she likes to say that it's my mom. And she likes to use my mom as the babysitter. My mom is not your babysitter.
And if your sister can engage you in this process, then it's not just her standing in the way. Now it's this turmoil between the two of you that's standing in the way. So she doesn't look quite as bad, right? If you engage, then she
Well, when I
It
say
makes
in,
it like you're part of the problem.
so again,